Okay, so let's start with the sixth practical, that is getting familiar with Nodered. We'll be studying about flows, subflows, and context, flow, and global invariant variables. So these are the things that we're going to cover. So let's run our Node-RED server. So type in your Node.js command prompt Node-RED. It will take some time to load. So till that time, I'll just brief you with what all we're going to cover. So what we're going to cover is what is a node. We have already seen in the last practical what is a flow, and we have done a basic flow for split string. We are going to see an advanced version of it this time. Then in the flow, what all you can do, how we can add new flows, how can we save our flows and reuse them, how you can export flows, how you can rename or delete flows, plus some keyboard shortcuts for your ease of use, and how to save functions that you have made in a library and to reuse it in different flows, and what is a subflow. This we'll see by example. After we are done with subflows, we'll be seeing the invariant variable can be used with three types of context, that is context, flow, and global. Flow, which is visible within the same flow. Global, which is visible to all nodes in any flow that you want to use. So when you're making a context type of a node, it is only a single node which is accessible to that particular flow, or that particular node structure, whereas flow is the node. If you specify it as flow, in whole of that flow or whole of that page, anywhere you can use it and it will be accessible. Global is globally accessible, in between flows also you can use. So these are the things we're going to cover. Our server would have started by now, so it has started, and here we're going to go to copy and we are going to start. So mine is already there. I'll just log in. So refresh, you will just paste the URL and your Node-RED ID will be, your Node-RED server will be running. So let's start a fresh flow so that you understand better. So what do I have to do is, first we'll see a simple program that we have seen last time. Just drag and drop an inject node and a debug node, connect them. In the inject node, you change the timestamp to a string, say hello world, done, and then you deploy it. Once you've deployed it, you send the data, you inject the data and see it in your debug window. So hello world can be seen. So this is what we have done last time. I will tell you how to add more flows. So that I've done only. Over here, can you see the plus symbol? Whenever you will press this, a new flow is created. So if I want to copy some components of this flow into flow number 5, so what do? I just select the things that I want to copy, press Ctrl C and Ctrl V to paste in another flow. It will be exactly pasted and you can again deploy it and run and see. The same would be the output for the flow. Now, suppose I want to copy some part of the flow, then you just select that part, Control C, and paste it in another flow. So that's how you can copy paste the flows, or you can copy the contents of one flow into another flow. Then let's say if I want to download this flow and keep and use it in some other time in some other project. So what do? I just export this flow. So you can do current flow or all flows. If you do the current flow, the current node which is active or the current flow that is active, that only gets downloaded. So you press the download button and here is the JSON file that gets downloaded. So if you want to use it again in another flow, you do an import. So you do an import, select a file to import. Go to downloads where flow.json is there, open it and import. Okay, so here it is imported. You can see it got imported. So if suppose you want to see, this is the flow that got imported. So it was flow 4 over here and flow 4 over here. The whole thing got imported. Okay, so if you do an export of all flows, then all the flows that are open in your window will get downloaded and you can import it later on. But that's not what I'm going to show you because I have too many flows. So if now suppose I have an extra flow, I have two flows, I'm named flow 4. So if I want to delete it, just double click it. You can rename it from here, something, or see, you can rename it, or you can delete it via the delete button. So this is how you can delete or rename a flow. Now suppose I want to add a function to the library. So what do? I'll first write a function. Okay, so just bring in the function command and drop in between the lines so it will get added over here. Now I'm going to write a function. Last time we wrote a function to split the string, so that is what I'm going to enhance that function only. So I've given you the code. So this is the code for it. Okay, so just copy paste it. I'll explain the code over there. Now this code is a very simple code. It will split the string. I have made three variables: split, list and string. Split contains the character at which I have to split. So it is over here, it is a blank space. So whenever a blank space is encountered in a sentence, it will split at that place. List contains the splitted items. Suppose hello world is there. So hello will get contained in list 0 and one part will contain the world. String is the temporary variable which keeps the temporarily the word that is being splitted. Okay, so the for loop is there which runs till message.payload.length, whatever message you have given from starting till end, whenever till the end of the length this loop will run. What it will do, string will have each character at a time, so I will keep running and string will keep storing it. If message.payload.character I equals to split, so one by one it is checking the payload. Whenever we get a space, what do? We list the push, we will push the str, that is a string till there, into the list. Okay, so if string dot length is greater than 0, str.length is greater than 0, then list dot push str. This keeps happening and then we'll read out the we return the payload. So it is very simple. We'll split the string whenever we get a space. So just rename as, just give it as a name as split string. Okay, and press done over here. So message.payload, you generally don't have to do anything, just debug window has to get selected and you do it done. And then we'll deploy this. Once we deploy this and send the string hello world, it will get splitted into hello and world. So this is what I have written a simple split string function. Suppose I want to add this to a library. What do? See a sign over here, just click on it and save to library. Give it whatever name you want to give it. It is giving by default the name of the file that you have given, function you have given. So just save it. Okay, since I have made it before, it is showing me replace, so I am replacing it. You can make it for the first time and done. So now if I have if I have a function node and I want to use split function, what do I do? Just open it from the library. So it will have the split string function. So this is how you can add a function that you've written to a library and use it later on, call it from the library. Okay. Another thing I want to tell you is there are some keyboard shortcuts that are listed over here. How to cancel a tray, clear debug messages, edit tray, copy selection. These are some redo, how to move selections. These are some keyboard shortcuts that can be handy for you to work fast on Nodered. So you can learn this via doing and practicing Nodered. Now suppose I want to run the same function in two different flows. Okay, so how do I do it? So over here, if I suppose I change the function to split at a character, say L, okay, and done. Okay, and I have made another flow where I have called the function. Okay, so let's complete the below flow also. Okay, here also we'll take something string hello, hi, to help, or something like that. Okay, so done, and I'm using the split string function, and when I run this one now, it is getting splitted at, okay, sorry, I've not deployed it. Once I'll deploy it and run this, so I have made changes in this split string function and converted the splitting at the word L. So when I run this, you can see the string is getting splitted at the word L. But when I run this one, it is not reflecting the changes that I have made in the split string function. So if I want to make a single change and change all the split fit functions at once, what I'll do, I'll convert it into a subflow. So to convert any function node or any node to a subflow, what do? Select the node, go to flows, go to subflows, and select selection to subflow. Okay, and again you copy this and paste it over here. Okay. Okay, so now when you run, now when you deploy and run this, it is splitting at L, and this will also split at L. So the subflow is used to use the same function to make the change once and use it in between two different flows also, and within the same flow for two nodes also. Okay, so um, after subflows, what we'll cover is context. So there are three types of context: is a context node, flow node, and global node. So let's see how to work with it. Let's take another example. So what I'll take an example as, I'll convert this only and take up a function and write a function over here. I have given you the code for it. It is a function that calculates the count of how many times I am running the code. Okay, so it has a function value, and context is a keyword I'm using. Get is a function which is being called with the count variable. So every time I run the code, the value gets incremented, and the context dot get gets the count, context dot set sets the count, and display me the value. So I'm returning the payload with the value. Okay, this is a simple function. So what I'll do, I'll just press done over here. Okay, I'll write something over here. Count function. Count. I'll just give the function name as count. Okay, and now I will deploy it. So first I'll deploy it and then I'll inject it. So 1 is coming over here. So how many times, second time I'll run, 2 will come, third time I'll run, 3 will come. So it is counting how many times I'm running the system. So suppose I am now calling the same count function from another function. Okay, so let's make another flow, inject function and debug. Okay, and connect these. Just write hi there. Okay, now I want to call the function from above over here. So what will I do? I'll just write one line, return payload context that dot get count. Okay, return payload. I'm returning the payload context dot get count. Okay, name as try or something, and now I deploy it and I send it from here. Hi there. It is showing undefined over here. Although I have used the count function above, I cannot use it in a node below it. So to achieve that, what do? Go to the original count function and instead of context, you use the keyword flow. Here also, instead of context, we'll use the keyword flow. Again, I'll deploy it. Now when I'll run it, it is showing me the count, and when I'll run it from here, it is giving me the last updated count, so I can access it to another node also. So when I'm using the keyword context, it is only related to the context of the current flow, whereas if I'm using the flow keyword, it can be used, it can be accessed within the same flow anywhere. But if I want to use the same thing from another flow, it won't be possible. So let's try that. Okay, let's put it over here. So when I'll deploy it and I'll run it, it is again showing me undefined. So what do I have to do? If I have to get the value in between two flows, I have to change the context to the flow keyword to global. So it is accessible in between flows also. So instead of flow, what you'll write? Global. Here also we'll write, instead of flow, we'll get global. Deploy this. global. Done. Now deploy this. Now when I run it from here, it is giving me 1, 2, 3. 3 times I've run it. Current value, and again from here when I'll run it, it will give me the current value which was showing undefined before. So context keyword for a same context, flow keyword within the flow if you want to access the same variable, and global keyword if you want to access in between flows. That is how we can use the variables or access the variables using the keywords. So that's it for this practical, and we'll be seeing dashboard, how to use the Nodered dashboard to design your dashboard for your project in the next practical. Thank you.